That is a very nice tree, but can you do me a favor before we get started? And the favor is this. I'm aware that the title of this video might attract a wider audience than usual, and if you're not at all interested in the outdoors, which is what I primarily make videos about, do me a favor and don't subscribe. I don't need the likes of you stinking up and artificially inflating my subscriber count. All right, so with that out of the way then, my name is Stephen and it has been 7 days since my last upload. In fact, I have uploaded a video at least every 7 days to YouTube for the last 7 years. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about 7 lessons, 7 unexpected lessons, things that I did not expect to learn when I started doing YouTube. And yes, one of those is how I don't think I'm going to be doing this in 2 years' time, and it might be the case for a lot of people as well. And yes, of course, that will be number 7. That's called a retention hack, by the way. And if you try to spite me by skipping ahead in the video just to get to number 7, I'll be able to tell from the analytics I'm watching you. So just to hopefully head off that idea, I'm going to list out the 7 titles of the 7 lessons so you know what's coming up. Number 1, it's good to talk to strangers. Number 2, say goodbye to all of your friends. Number 3, the YouTube difficulty paradox. Number 4, my old self is judging me. Number 5, money, money, money. No, no, no. Number 6, the pen is mightier than the pixel. And number 7, nothing lasts forever. So I hope that gives you a clear idea of what's coming up. Let's get started. Number 1, it's good to talk to strangers. I have made more new friends through doing YouTube than anything else I've done in my life. It is really difficult making new friends as an adult, especially if you can't stand anybody you work with and you're not willing to join a church, a gym, or a cult. Those last 2 being somewhat interchangeable. But when you start a YouTube channel, suddenly you find yourself connected with all the other weirdos with the exact same interests that you have. Now you might be wondering, Stephen, are you not being blinded with the sun right now? Yes I am, but I wanted the perfect angle where I'd be positioned between this cliff and this tree. So yeah, you start doing a YouTube channel and you start making connections with people with similar interests. And sometimes they'll message you, sometimes those messages will turn into conversations, and sometimes those online conversations can turn up into meeting up in real life and actual real life friendships. Now, I'm not a lonely person, but I've seen people who I think otherwise would be quite isolated make friends through making videos on YouTube, and as a result, their lives have been enriched, and it's a really cool and unexpected side effect. Although my wife does still think it's very strange. Occasionally I'll say, by Louise, I'm away to go camp in the woods with some weirdo, some stranger I met on the internet. It's a weird thing. And you sometimes make temporary friends as well. A good example of this was a night I went camping in the woods in winter. It was quite dark. And this man appeared after dark, out of the gloom. And he recognized me from YouTube. And we got chatting and he said, they claimed anyway, that he was supposed to be meeting a group of friends there and they hadn't appeared. I felt kind of bad. And I said, do you know what? You can camp nearby. We'll sit and we'll chat. And we talked a bit, but he didn't talk that much. But he did spend the evening sitting, looking at me while sharpening a stick with a massive knife that he brought with him. I slept with an axe under my, my camping mat that night. But it was fine, it was fine. I woke up in the morning and I was entirely non-murdered. I guess if there's any downside to this, aside from the possibility of accidentally making friends with an actual axe murderer, is that, well, the more people you come into contact with and the more people you know, the greater the chances are that you're going to lose some of those people. And that happened last year. Lost a good friend who I met through camping and YouTube. I mean, in fact, he was a friend to a lot of people, and it was a big loss. But even that was bittersweet because his channel brought a lot of people together and made this network of friends that just wouldn't exist otherwise. So life is beautiful, but life is fragile. Number 2 then is say goodbye to all of your friends. YouTube is something that will absorb as much time as you can throw at it, because you can pretty much work on it 24/7. I mean, I literally sometimes dream about making videos. It just is such a potential massive time sink. I mean, I was writing this script that I'm delivering now at 11:45 last night. If there's something or someone in your life that you value, that matters, that you feel it's important you maintain a relationship with them, or that you have got responsibilities that you think are important and you need to do, you really have to proactively make time to... That was a bee just tried to attack me. Those things matter. Long term, they matter a lot more than your YouTube channel. That's why personally I tend to do my trips during the week, and I try to protect my Saturdays and my Sundays. I think that sometimes, because of the really big numbers of people involved, and even if you have a small channel and 100 people watch, it can skew your mind to how you think about the people that require the most attention. You know, like there's 100 people versus maybe this one important person in your life. 100's a lot more than one. It can make making videos on YouTube feel more vital, more important, and more of a priority than it really is. By the way, if you find this video useful and you want to refer back to it, but you don't want to have to watch the video again, I have a blog version of it up on my Squarespace website. Squarespace is a visual website building service that allows you to create a website without any technical skills. Loads of features on there, including the ability to create a blog. I was able to go on, create a new post, paste in my script, make some edits to it, throw in some images really easily, and then set it to be scheduled to publish. So if you ever think you want to get your own blog up and running, or you just want to get a website up and running for any reason, just head to squarespace.com/Stephen J. Reid and get 10% off your first website and domain name using the code Stephen J. Reid. All right, back to the video. All right, number 3 then, the YouTube difficulty paradox. And I think this is the one that the people have the hardest time understanding, and it's that YouTube is simultaneously the easiest and the most difficult job I've had in my life. It's the most fun and also the most stressful. It's given me the most freedom, but it's also made me feel incredibly trapped at times. My previous jobs involved working in the advertising industry, working at a tech startup, I worked in retail, I was a part-time butcher, and I spent one summer allegedly helping out on a farm, but all I really remember was I spent a lot of the time riding the automatic dung sweeper through the cowshed. The chances of being able to make a living from a new business is roughly 1 in 5, okay? So only about 1 in 5 new businesses succeed. The chances of managing to make a living from a YouTube channel is about 1 in 1,000. It's a lot more difficult than starting a business, and that's what people don't get. If you want to do YouTube and make money from it, you have to treat it like a business. It is a business. I spent 6 years, at least 20 hours a week, churning out a video every single week, and I made pretty much no money from it. I probably actually spent more money making the videos when you consider all the things I bought and all the travel and so on than I actually made from the videos. It was only last year that my channel finally took off after 6 years, and I actually started making money from it, and I was able to go full-time this year. But here's the thing, this is where the difference is. I enjoyed that process. I liked making those videos. They were fun. It gave me an excuse to go out and see new places, to buy new kit, to test new things, to use my filmmaking skills to tell stories. So I enjoyed the process, and that makes a difference. YouTube still causes me a lot of stress today. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of second guessing myself. There's still a lot of physical and mental work that goes into YouTube, but I'm getting to do what I want. I'm getting to make the stories I want, go the places I want, and using the filmmaking skills that I love using. And that, for me, is what makes all the difficult sides of it worthwhile. I absolutely hate the expression, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It is nonsense. If you find a job that you love, you will pour yourself into it wholesale. So if you do find the job that you love, I would say be really wary of it and ask the question, what is this costing me somewhere else? If you're going to do this, if you're going to do YouTube and you're going to put up with how difficult it is, there has to be something. The fly just bounced up. What is with the insects today? That, whatever that was, completely lost my train of thought. YouTube is more work than everybody thinks it is, but if you do it right and you manage it properly and you're careful with your time and you don't let it take over your life, it's totally worth it. Number 4, and this could really be described as YouTube changes how you feel about yourself, and that's good and it can be bad. For me, the good has been YouTube has improved my self-confidence because it's forced me to get out there and do things I wouldn't normally have been comfortable doing on my own, talking to people more, and I have found I feel more self-confident as a result. But in a weird paradox, it's also made me more self-conscious. And I'll give you an example of this. Okay, so a few years ago, this tooth here, it's not real anymore, by the way, it broke in half. And I had this weird gap for a while, looked kind of like a snaggletooth hillbilly. But when I was out and about, normally I didn't think about it because I couldn't see it. It didn't really affect how I felt about myself until I went to edit videos. And then I became aware of how stupid I looked with this gap. And then that was in my head because that's all I could see when I was looking at my face on the screen. So the next time I went out after editing, I was suddenly self-conscious. I was suddenly aware of how I looked more. And then I was thinking more about, did other people see this? Did I think I look stupid? And I've also had the unenviable pleasure of watching myself, unenviable, arguable, anyway, I've been watching myself age over the last 7 years, and I find it now really uncomfortable in some ways to go back and watch my earlier videos and see just, you know, how much I have aged in that time. It's made me so aware of how fast life moves and how short life really is. And that could be seen as negative because it's a bit depressing, but on the other side, I think it's a positive because once you become aware of just how short life is, and life is really short. Talk to people who are older, people in their 70s and 80s, and they will tell you it goes, what was that? That's your life, mate. What was that from? I can't remember. Yeah, life is short. And when you know that life is short, it forces you to ask the question, how do I best make use of this time? How do I not let it go to waste? And then it can also make you ask the bigger questions in life as well. You know, why am I here? Does God exist? Is there more to life than this life? Or it can make me ask the big question, the biggest question. Should I start using Just for Men to cover up the greys in my beard? I don't know, I think it makes me look either slightly distinguished or a little bit ridiculous. What do you think? Right, let's move on quickly to number 5. Money, money, money. No, no, no. If you have a YouTube channel and it grows and you start to see some level of success, people will start to want things from you. I mean, that can be good stuff, like people just want to ask you for advice. And I like giving advice. I like helping people. And sometimes that has limits because sometimes there's some people who turn you into their personal shopper, asking your advice about every single purchase they make, about cameras and outdoor kit. And that's maybe fine if it's one person, but when it's 20 people, it gets a bit much. But the other thing that will happen is brands will start to contact you because they'll want you to promote their product. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. YouTube wouldn't exist without sponsorships. I couldn't make a living on YouTube without sponsorships. But not all sponsorships and not all offers of free products are worth it. I've had piles of products sitting in a heap just stressing me out for months because I overcommitted to them. And they, you know, a lot of the time they were free, I wasn't getting paid anything, and it just was this burden on me. And the same applies with sponsors as well. I'm currently considering turning down a massive sponsorship deal. I've been offered a 1-year sponsorship deal, 2 videos a month for all of 2026, and I'm considering turning it down. And I'm considering turning it down because it removes one of the big things that I do YouTube for, and that's freedom. Even though it's 2 videos a month, it means if I'm sick or I take a holiday, suddenly I will find myself behind schedule and trying to get caught up. And, you know, suddenly my life is being controlled by someone, a brand. And I just worried that the quality of my videos might suffer as a result if I have a 12-month, 24 video commitment. So I'm really seriously considering turning it down, and it'll also remove other opportunities from other brands that I might want to work with as well. Haven't made up my mind on that yet, but it's just an example of something that seems really, really good because it's a big chunk of money. It's not enough to live off, so that makes it slightly less tempting, but it's a big thing to turn down. But I'm just trying to be really wise about it and think long term, will I regret this? And will this be good for me or not? So yeah, my advice would be turn down 95% or 99% of the offers you get for free stuff and for money to promote something. If you are going to promote something, pick it carefully, research it, make sure it's quality, make sure you're really strict about you can only do honest reviews. If you don't like something about it, you have the option to not review it. And always, always, always ask for more money. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Number 6, the pen is mightier than the pixel. Doing YouTube has made me a better writer. It's made me read more books. It's made me get better at research. Just about every single video I make has got some kind of script. At the very least, just a list of bullet points, or in the case of this video, it's got a 2,000 word script that I'm trying to deliver verbatim. So this right now I've memorized. The benefit of writing scripts for your videos is that it helps organize your thinking, it helps you plan the structure of your video shoots better, and it helps you shoot more efficiently because you're always thinking, you know, what comes next. And it helps you do things like plan in advance, retention hacks and things like that. It makes you a better storyteller. Writing makes you make better videos. And now I've forgotten the script, which I'm going to have to refer to. Oh yes, that's what it was. 30 minutes spent just writing down some bullet points can literally save you hours later in the edit. And some of my best ideas have come from ideas that I've got from books that I've written. So read widely and learn to value the art of writing. Number 7 then is nothing lasts forever. There was a time before YouTube existed, and there is going to be a time after YouTube disappears. And there's been a few things kind of happening recently, movements, advancements and technologies that have made me think that possibly for me, my time on YouTube might be up in as little as 2 years. And one of the biggest changes we've seen in the last few years that makes me think things are going backwards is the rise of low quality short form content aimed at just giving people a quick dopamine hit instead of something actually valuable. Like TikTok, you can spend an hour on TikTok, watch, I don't know, 60 videos and remember absolutely none of them. Whereas if you're watching a long form video on YouTube, you probably actually remember what you watched. But unfortunately, that short form stuff is addictive and people are watching it more and more and more. And that's taking time away from the time they watch long form content. If that continues, long form views are going to drop and that is going to be bad for everybody. But here is my hope. Much like if you eat too much junk food, too many sweets, eventually you're going to get sick of it and you're going to spew your guts up a rainbow-colored fountain of sweet, sickly vomit. And after that, all you will crave is a delicious, steaming bowl of hot, boiled potatoes covered in butter, a little salt and pepper. You're going to want something more substantial. And I hope that happens with videos and content on YouTube. This looks suitably secure. By the way, I hope you appreciate just how many setups I had in this video. A setup is every time the camera changes. Right, next thing, next trend that sort of is possibly going to be a concern, and that is what the younger generation does now sets the tone for the future. And 10 years ago, teenagers would have mostly been watching videos on YouTube. You know, that's where Mr. Beast is after all. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case with Gen Alpha and a lot of Gen Z. They spend most of their video watching time now on TikTok, and TikTok now offers long form video. So the question is, at some point, are they going to suddenly mature and want horizontal video, or is TikTok going to fulfill all their needs for information and video right into the future? Honestly, I'm not sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. Excuse me, have you got any interest in learning 7 lessons from 7 years on YouTube? No, they're not interested. Right. The next factor is competition. Every single year, there are more and more people starting outdoor channels, which is great. It's fine. If you want to start a channel, go and do it. It's a free world. It's a free country. There's nothing, no one's stopping you from doing that. You can't gatekeep it. But as there are more channels producing more similar types of content, and there are only really so many different topics of videos you can make, well, you just ended up with this vast library of videos, which when you spread the audience, potential audience out over them all, mean that each individual video is going to get less views. Over time, what that might mean is that channels might not get the views they need in order to get the ad revenue they need to survive, or in order to attract brands. Now, again, time will tell how much of an issue this might be, because, you know, outdoor videos might just be in a trend. Some people will keep at it for years, some people will do it for a few years and they'll quit. There's always people quitting and there's always people starting, so it might not be an issue. But the next thing I'm going to talk about, I really do think is going to be an issue, and it's a little bit dark and a little bit grim, so let's find somewhere suitably unpleasant to talk about it. It absolutely stinks in here. Right, let's talk about something you're absolutely fed up talking about, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, and that is AI. AI is a multiplication factor to all of those things above. AI is allowing more people to more easily create low quality, dopamine addictive, churned out content. It's letting people, you know, you can use AI to write scripts for your entire video. AI did not touch the script for this video. AI can be used to make thumbnails from scratch. It can be used to come up with eye-catching titles. It lowers the barrier of entry. I honestly don't think it's going to be long before we see entirely AI-generated, long-form, 20-minute outdoor videos where you cannot tell it's AI. I think we're less than 5 years away from that, a couple of years maybe, where AI will be able to create really engaging people and personas that you won't be able to tell. There's this kind of like misconception at the minute that we'll always be able to tell something is AI generated because it looks fake, their hands are weird. 3 years ago, think how bad AI looked, think how good it looks today. Where's it going to look in 2 years' time? You won't be able to tell the difference. You won't, in a lot of cases. And how long is it going to be before you'll be able to go to your little prompt and type, generate a 20-minute YouTube adventure video in the style of Stephen J. Reed exploring an abandoned quarry in Wales populated with robots, and it will create that, and it will look as good or better, or probably better, than anything I could make. That's going to happen. Now, for a long time, your own existing followers will know what's real and what's fake, because you're not going to post that in your own channel. You know, you'll see it popping somewhere else, you'll see it's a strange channel, and you'll know to ignore that. But new followers won't know that. I mean, someone impersonated me on TikTok, and all they did was chop up my videos and post them on TikTok, and they got more views on their fake TikTok account than I got on my real TikTok account. And that wasn't even fake content, that was just my content stolen. So think how easy it will be when talentless people can steal someone's identity and style and just generate videos based on what that person has worked hard for, and they can make money off it. Unless platforms put in some kind of safeguards, it's going to go nuts. AI is going to make it possible for people to gain a following based on creativity, based on personality, based on adventure and exploration, with zero talents in any of those actual areas. The biggest problem with AI, if I can quote The Incredibles, is it makes everyone special. And when everyone's special, no one is. But I don't think it's all just doom and gloom. Now, my hope is that that won't happen. My hope is that people will get fed up with junk content and it will create a renaissance, or if you want to call it a revolution, of people seeking out more quality content. And that will also mean that there is enough audience to go around for whatever number of people who are making good, genuine, real content. I mean, television didn't kill books, cars didn't kill the bicycle. Things change, that's a given, and we never really know where the dust is going to settle. And that is why, while I hope I'll be doing this for another 7 years, I'm planning and mentally preparing for in case I'm only doing it for another 2. You might be wondering why 2 years specifically. Well, I feel that 2 years is a short enough period of time to give me a sense of urgency, so that I don't get lax, I don't relax, I don't lay on my laurels. I keep pushing myself and I keep trying to make things better and better. I keep trying to advance my channel. I think 2 years is also kind of the length of time that in tech things can change dramatically. And also it's just about long enough so that I can think more long term, if that makes sense. And you know what, if this is all over in 2 years, I'm okay with that, because this has been great and I've honestly never really felt like I've been fully in control of my life anyway. I always feel like in many ways my life has sort of happened to me, both the good and the bad. I think for me it maybe helps that I'm a Christian and I believe in something greater than myself. I believe there's someone out there who's good, who loves me, who's in control, and ultimately everything that happens to me is for my good, whether or not I understand it or not, or whether or not I like it at the time. So when things change, I just sort of, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. That's where my hope is.
It comes as the bracken turns to rust, and the seeds hang heavy on the trees, and you're walking through the garden as the flowers of summer fade, and the leaves catch stranger.